All right, so there's a report that surfaced the other day that UNC has a handshake agreement with the SEC to join the conference whenever the opportunity presents itself and whenever the timing is right for both parties. We're going to address this report the best way we know how here on The Era. If you're new here, please subscribe. We're building this Era community brick by brick, and I love for you to be a part of it. So I'm going to start this by saying that I love the idea, the notion of North Carolina being a part of the SEC. I love it for several reasons. And I also want to start by saying that this isn't something that's going to happen immediately. There's nothing imminent about this. There's no chance it happens in 2025 because the exit fee associated with the ACC is still a whopping $165 million. No institution in its right minds would invest that kind of money in an exit fee. And the ACC's new arrangement right now, it helps current schools build a revenue base better than it has in past years. So the situation right now for teams that are in the ACC that are exploring leaving, it's ideal right now to stay put for at least the next several years because the exit fee is so high and the current arrangement is somewhat favorable. However, if you go down the line to the 2029 into the 2030 season, the exit fee drops to $93 million. And that's more feasible for an institution like UNC, who has a lot of money and is obviously entertaining leaving the ACC for greener pastures. This wouldn't be a conversation if they weren't actively considering that. I'm going to say this. These rumors have been circulating and have been discussed for long enough now to where it's going to happen. There are several schools in the ACC right now that are going to go to either the SEC or the Big Ten. I think most of them go to the SEC. If you recall, several years ago, the Magnificent Seven formed, and these were current ACC institutions that were essentially rebelling over how much of the revenue pie they're getting from the ACC in proportion to the value that they're delivering to the conference itself from an entertainment value standpoint and from a revenue standpoint. Those schools include UNC, Miami, Virginia, Virginia Tech, Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina State. I think that at some point, all of those teams go to a conference other than the ACC. But for right now, I just want to discuss UNC. But I preface that because I think that UNC to the SEC only makes sense if it's a package deal. We have UNC among others going to the SEC. And when I consider who the schools that the best fit would be in the SEC would be, it would be North Carolina, Virginia, Virginia Tech, possibly NC State, Clemson, and Florida State. Maybe Miami. North Carolina State and Miami are maybes, but the other ones I think would be a perfect fit in the SEC, and I think they should all come over at once or within a year or two of each other. I think that North Carolina is a fantastic fit in the SEC. I think so because UNC has a strong brand influence. The Tar Heels are very recognizable brands. That shade of baby blue, the Argyle pattern, Michael Jordan. I mean, you could go over to Italy or Belgium or Norway, and I can guarantee people over there will know who the North Carolina Tar Heels are. You can't say that for every school in the ACC. They have that kind of brand power and leverage, and the SEC is actively pursuing schools who have that. North Carolina, as we all know, has a fantastic academic standards. That will be great for the SEC as well to have a school with that level of academic prestige. Regionality. This may be my biggest argument for North Carolina joining the SEC. This isn't covered a lot from a national standpoint, but from somebody who's lived in the South for 5 years now, I can confirm regionality is huge down here. Border rivalries are huge. And so you look at a school like North Carolina. It borders Tennessee, borders South Carolina, borders Virginia, borders Georgia. There's a possibility to have rivalries with all those schools. Tennessee, they already have it with Virginia. Georgia possibly could heat up. South Carolina could be a yearly thing. I went to Alabama, and obviously Tennessee's a huge rivalry. Georgia has developed as a rivalry the past several years in football, of course, because both schools have been the gold standard within the SEC. But Alabama and Florida is a huge rivalry that I don't think is talked about enough, and so is Alabama and Ole Miss. I mean, Mississippi is an hour and 15-minute drive down the road from Tuscaloosa. And so winning that border war is a big deal to us. And the same can be said in states like North Carolina, like South Carolina, like Georgia. Those states that you border, like look at Tennessee and Georgia, for example. Those border state rivalries are massive. And so there's the potential for new rivalries if North Carolina is to join the SEC. And North Carolina is a blue blood in college basketball. And there's a parallel with North Carolina and the SEC for that reason, because the SEC and schools within it have been investing a lot more into college basketball these past several years. The SEC just had 14 schools in the NCAA tournaments. There is a lot of emerging powers in the college basketball world in the SEC right now. You look at your Alabamas, you look at your Auburns, you look at your Texas A&Ms, your Tennessees. There's a lot of emerging powers that are making noise in college basketball in the regular season and in March Madness. And for UNC to see those schools multiple times a year would be huge. UNC and Alabama has been a little thing these past several years. They've seen each other the past several years. UNC and Tennessee, that color combination would be insane. The basketball combination would be even better. UNC and Auburn, I'd love to see that every year. UNC and Florida, two huge college basketball brands. I mean, the potential, the possibilities are endless. And it gets me stoked just talking about it. 5 years ago, I would never even entertain the notion of North Carolina joining the SEC because it just wouldn't make sense in my mind. But given the way that the landscape of college sports has evolved in the past 5 years from a conference realignment standpoint, I think it not only makes sense, but it's inevitable. Like I said, when something has been talked about this much, it's going to happen. UNC's evaluating its options, and I think the SEC clearly sticks out. For those reasons, I would love to see UNC in the SEC. My only condition is, whatever happens, we can't lose the Tobacco Road rivalry. It's one of the best rivalries in not only college sports, but sports overall. We've lost too many rivalries in college sports, and Tobacco Road cannot be one. Let me know what y'all think about your thoughts on UNC and the SEC in the comment section below. Thank you all for watching. Have a great day.